Matthews and Taylor shines for the West Indies women in World Cup warm-up, and Trinidad and Tobago Red Force steamrolled by the Jamaica Scorpions. Viewers and subscribers, welcome back to the Sports Perspective TV. As always, thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate you taking the time out to watching the video and interacting with the video as well. So as you can tell, we'll be talking about the two topics that I just mentioned. The West Indies women, they played their warm-up World Cup match against Ireland today, and they put on a splendid performance. So we're going to be sharing the details of the match, and also, sharing the final details of the match between Jamaica Scorpions and the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, in which the Scorpions came out victorious. So just stick around to the end of the video as we get into the details of these topics, right? But before I do that, would really appreciate if you take a few seconds to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We are about 3 subscribers away from the 3,000 mark, and would really appreciate if we're able to get to that mark on this video, right? So take a second to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so as yet, and do remember to like the video. All right, so getting into the details first. Let's start with the West Indies women, right? So they played the warm-up match against Ireland today in the World Cup warm-up. As you know, they are currently trying to qualify for the 50 over World Cup. And they had, which the official qualification starts on the 9th, where they will play Scotland. But they had a warm-up match today in which they went up against Ireland, right? So scores in the match: Ireland batted first in this one, and they posted a very competitive total. They got to 240. I think it's 240. Ireland got to 248 for 8 of their 50 overs, right? So that was definitely a challenging total, a tricky total. Batting for Ireland, their batting was led by Laura Delaney, who scored 67, and she was supported by Leah Paul, who got 46, and their captain Gabby Len, who made 45 and then retired hurt, right? Bowling for the West Indies, Hayley Matthews, she led the way with the ball for us in terms of wickets taken. She took 3 for 62, from her 10 overs, and she was supported by the veteran, of course, Afi Fletcher, who took 2 for 41 from her 10 overs, and Karishma Ramnarak also taking 2 wickets for 36 runs from 9 overs, right? So the West Indies woman needed 249 to win, and they chased down that total with relative ease in the end, getting to the required total with over 9 overs to spare. They got to 252 for 5 on the back of half centuries from captain Hayley Matthews, who scored 55, from 53 balls. Also getting a half century, Stephanie Taylor, on her return to the team from injury. She scored 53 off 51 balls. And also among the runs was Zeta James, the youngster. She opened the innings with Hayley Matthews, and she scored 47 off 73. Right. And they were the top scorers for the West Indies women in their total of 252 for 5. Chasing down the total with over 9 overs to spare, like I mentioned earlier. So a very comprehensive victory in the end for the West Indies women, in their warm-up match, as they prepare for the World Cup qualifiers. Hopefully, we can see a similar performance or even a better performance when the official warm-up matches start, firstly coming up against Scotland, and then for the remainder of the matches as well, right? In all honesty, I am expecting the West Indies women to qualify for the World Cup. But as you know, with cricket, it being a game of glorious uncertainties, it's not played on paper. So you definitely have to go out there and put in a performance on match day to get the expected result, right? But nevertheless, I am confident that we will be able to qualify for the World Cup, and like I said earlier, glad to see Stephanie Taylor back in the team and contributing right away with the bat, right? So it was a brilliant all-round performance by Captain Hayley Matthews, scoring 55 and taking 3 wickets, right? And as you know, she's been leading from the front in all formats, of the game for the West Indies women team, and today was no different. And I'm definitely looking forward to more brilliant performances from her, Stephanie Taylor, Chanel Henry, the entire team, in these World Cup qualifiers, right? So again, the West Indies women, they won by 5 wickets, in their warm-up match against Ireland. in preparation for the Women World Cup qualifiers, right? Moving on now to the West Indies Championship, right? And I mean, I wouldn't say it's not a based on how the season has gone, you can say it's a surprise victory. But historically, you would not say it's a surprise, right? But nevertheless, the Jamaica Scorpions, they completely dominated the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, completing victory within 3 days, right? So scores in the match, Trinidad needing 382 to win. They were bowled out for 165 in their second innings, right? Which means that the Jamaica Scorpions won by 223 runs, right? And the Scorpions, they were led with the ball by Brad Barnes, the off spinner. He took 4 for 19 from 7 overs, right? And also Odin Smith. Odin Smith, he definitely put on a brilliant showing with the ball. He bowled a brilliant spell. He took 3 for 19 from 5 overs, getting, and those 3 wickets were 3 important wickets, right? He got the wicket of Amir Django, also getting the wicket of Captain Joshua Dasilva, and also he was also the one that got the wicket of Cephas Cooper, right? And so Odin Smith, huge shout out to Odin Smith, on his bowling effort in this match, right? He's criticized often, right? So we must acknowledge, when he bowls well, right? And this spell that he bowled, in this match, right, taking 3 crucial wickets, also being economical, was brilliant. He was getting the ball to swing, a lot, especially that ball that he bowled to get rid of Django, right? That ball was unplayable, right? So the Scorpions, dominating the Red Force, winning within 3 days, right? And definitely spoiling the party for the Trinidad for the Red Force, in their attempt to win the West Indies Championship this year. It's definitely looking like Guyana will do a three-peat, right? Because at the time of recording in this video, Guyana had declared on, I think it's 490 for 9 that they made and declared, which means that the Leeward Islands, need over 300 runs to win that match, and today is the final day of play, right? So that match will more than likely end in a draw, or a Guyana victory. I can't see the Leeward Islands getting anywhere close to that 340 with the amount of time that's left in the match, right? So Guyana will definitely get some points from this match and extend their lead over Trinidad going into that final round matchup. It's not over for Trinidad, but this loss definitely makes it harder for them to win the title, and it definitely pushes Guyana closer to securing their third straight West Indies 40 championship title. 3 in a row. It's looking like that's what Guyana will do, right? But time will tell. But that's all I have for you in this video, viewers and subscribers. Again, do remember to like the video, share your thoughts in the comment section, and subscribe to the channel, right? Almost at 3,000 subscribers, and I want to say a huge shout out to each and every one of you that has subscribed so far. Really appreciate your support. Thank you for being a member of the channel. And yeah, just an overall thank you. Shout out, and as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.